your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on seeing the signs of major big transformation in your life. So now friends, here when I use the term transformation, so I did not only mean that you were in a job or you got considered for a new role or you started some side venture or you moved to a new place. Here I'm talking about a complete U-turn in the life. Like, because friends, I recently uploaded this video on the concept of seeing the signs of passive income in your chart. So a lot many people ask me this question. So here I'm talking about all those kind of circumstances that, friends, I come from New Delhi, India, and I'd seen growing up lot many cases where that some guy was doing very good as a street food seller, and overnight some big businesses, they invested in his venture and all of that, and overnight he just got into some big franchisee model and all of that. And even in the nature of work as well, a lot many times we have seen all those people who were doing very good in their corporate job, but suddenly this thought came to them and they joined politics, or they actually got into a federal government job. So all those things which are little bit bizarre, unusual, and all those forced changes in someone's life, a complete U-turn. So what could be the signs of that? That is something which we will try to understand in a very short and crisp video. So now definitely friends, in order to judge that, there are three entities which are going to be involved. First is going to be definitely the dasha. Second is going to be the concerned houses in your natal chart, and third is going to be the role of transit in that. So now friends, to start first with the dasha. So now friends, over here I always emphasize this thing that whatsoever you want to attain, or if you are in that crossroad of your life, the only thing which you have to give attention to is the planet whose dasha is currently active in your life. It hardly matters what kind of Raj yogas you have in your chart, or what kind of dreaded afflicted yogas you have in your chart, unless and until if those planets or those houses are currently not activated because of the dasha lord, so you do not have to worry about that. So important is that whatsoever your future aspirations are, or whatsoever is currently happening in your life, somehow answers of all of that you can freely get to know only via doing a deeper scrutinization of your Mahadasha Lord. So now friends, over here there is one technique which majority of the Vedic astrologers recommend. So all what you have to do is that you have to study your chart via making your Mahadasha Lord as the focal point. So wheresoever your Mahadasha Lord planet is sitting in the chart, you have to make that planet or that house, that sign, as the first house, as the ascendant, and then you have to see that whatsoever this Mahadasha is promising to you in its time period. The second thing is that friends, when we even talk about the nature of the different planets, when we have to talk about the major big transformation, so definitely friends, Saturn plays a very important role over here. Now understand me on this thing, that when I say that Saturn is going to bring some major unpredictable sudden change, so that is not the innate nature of Saturn. So first of all, you do not have to worry about the time period of the Saturn, because trust me, you are going to be very lucky if at the prime stage of your life, if at the prime of your youth or in your middle age, you will go through the time period of the planet Saturn, because it's the Saturn only which gives us focus in the life, which gives us purpose in the life. When we talk about greatness, respect, honor, sincerity, so all these are the traits or the qualities which Saturn bestows on someone whenever it gets activated in its time period. So trust me friends. Now the main thing over here is that, which I have seen in many charts, is that because friends, Saturn at the end of the day wants us to connect us with our true innate nature, like whatsoever destiny which your soul has to fulfill in this lifetime, Saturn always pushes us, encourages us in that direction. So now let's say, for example, if your path, if your karma is to become a preacher and preach the whole world, if your karma is to invent a medicine and bring a reform in the lives of the millions of the people, and trust me, if you are engaged in some different line of work, so whensoever Saturn's time period is going to get activated, Saturn will definitely try its level best to connect you with your roots or the kind of karma which you meant to be fulfilling in this lifetime. That is the only reason, friends. Even if you will look at the enmity of the planet Saturn with other planets, so Saturn is inimical towards Mars because Mars is always impulsive and Saturn is a very patient planet. Saturn is inimical towards the planet like Sun, because Sun has got a lot of ego and Saturn is the most humble planet. And lastly, when we talk about Moon as well, so Moon also has a lot of impressionability and Saturn just wants you to be very cold and unrelenting towards your duties, towards your discipline and your karma. Now friends, when I talk about other planet which holds this key to bring a major transformation in our life, so that is the planet Ketu. Now friends, trust me on this thing. Many times people say me that I'm very fearful, I'm always very scared about the planet Saturn. But trust me, if there is only one planet which I am very scared of, that is the planet Ketu. Because Ketu is the only planet which holds this key to bring a complete U-turn in a very short span of time. So now again friends, like when we talk about these kind of specifically the karmic planets, so now whether you talk about Saturn which wants you to connect to your root with your innate talents, Saturn wants you to pay back your karma. Same way Ketu also wants to actually make you pure of all the kind of deeds which you have been carrying within your soul. So because of which whatsoever is meant to happen, whatsoever karma which needs to be paid, and whatsoever the kind of talents which your soul has carrying within itself, Ketu's time period or Ketu's activation can actually put you on that path. Now friends, trust me on this thing. I've seen so many case studies and documentaries where when we talk about some sort of past life like past life connection or all these kind of documentaries where someone who was born in a different land but from a very young age without any formal training, this kid started talking in a different language and all of that. So the documentary makers, they do not try to blend astrology on that, but when you see the signs, when you see the circumstances, and you being an astrologer where you can see the age and criteria and the signs and the circumstances, you can fairly connect the dots. So definitely friends, Ketu can actually hold this key to bring a complete U-turn or major transformation in someone's life. Now friends, after that, when we talk about Jupiter, so Jupiter's time period also hold a lot of potential of bringing that transformation or bringing all those opportunities in your case. But many times Jupiter only bestow these kind of gifts when you have already attained that level of maturity or wisdom or experience with the passage of time. So now when I talk about something which is completely unusual, bizarre, unpredictable, so that domain majorly goes to the Saturn, Rahu, Ketu. But when we talk about those kind of transformation which takes place with maturity, now friends, here you might find it difficult to digest because maturity is something which we connect with the planet Saturn. But trust me, in my own research, I've seen this thing that in majority of the cases, like people who are already, they have served in some specific portfolio, in some specific roles, in some specific capacity for many years, and then they get chosen for some very coveted position and profile which might be completely foreign or different to their existing line of work. So over there, Jupiter could also play an important role, or Jupiter's activation can also play a very pivotal role in those kind of situations or scenarios. Now friends, when we talk about the houses, so now that's very simple, because here we are talking about your actions, your identity in this society which is getting completely transformed. So definitely friends, the focal point is going to be the 10th house. Now when we talk about any changes, so definitely from the 10th house, the 6th from the 10th is the 3rd house, which is the house of your initiatives, like your efforts, your initiatives, your courage, your valor. And many times what happens is that in a lot many circumstances, we're driven by the kind of obstacles and dissatisfaction. So that sort of frustration which gives rise to looking out for some new ventures, new opportunity, and then something suddenly happens in your life. So 3rd house can also play a very important role. So you have to give attention to whether the Mahadasha, Antardasha, or in transit are planets pinpointedly, like all the transiting planets, the players which I have just mentioned, and even in the activated dashas, are the 10th house or the 3rd house are coming in any sort of combination. The second is the after the 3rd house, is the fifth house, because fifth house is 8 from the 10th house. And friends, these days where like there's so much of the advent and rise of the social media, passive income, speculation and all of that, so fifth house in a way also plays a very pivotal role when we specifically talk about any major big transformation which can be experienced in someone's life. And specifically friends, all these houses which I am currently talking about, if you have like Saturn, Rahu or specifically Ketu to be placed in these houses, so this can trigger these kind of transformation or big or complete U-turn in someone's life. Now friends, I want to make this thing very clear over here, because these days I see a lot many youngsters and youth very much getting driven towards or getting fascinated with Rahu. Trust me friends, I am the right person to talk about Rahu. My moon nakshatra is of Rahu. I have gone through the Rahu's Mahadasha, which was my very first dasha. And Rahu is a strong planet in my case. And I always say this thing, friends, Rahu ultimately is a malefic planet. Now the concern over here is that there has to be a middle bridge. Because if you will listen to all the orthodox, traditional, like astrologers, they will just attach all the negative things to the Rahu. And if you will listen to all the modern day, new age astrologers and all of that, they will just not stop praising Rahu. But there has to be a middle ground, because at the end of the day, Rahu just represents illusion, deception, controversy, confusion and scandals. Trust me, unless and until Rahu is not being supported because of the presence of a strong Saturn, Jupiter, because of the aspects which it is receiving from Saturn or Jupiter, so trust me, stand alone, even the wealth or the fame given by Rahu will become a reason of your problem, reason of your worry, reason of your regrets. So Rahu needs to be well supported, balanced with other contributing factors in the chart, which are Saturn and Jupiter. Stand alone, Rahu can actually cause a havoc as well. So here I'm not including or giving more weightage to Rahu. Rahu needs to be studied in tandem with other contributions, but standalone, Saturn, Jupiter or Ketu can actually play a very pivotal role. So now friends, after the fifth house, definitely ninth house also plays a very important role, because ninth house tells about something which is fated or destined or meant to happen in your case. Now friends, because when we talk about those kind of sudden unpredictable changes and all those kind of cases, like I have even read this biography of Tom Cruise as well, that at one stage of his life he wanted to become a join some church, become a father or a priest or something like that. So there has been so many cases that just because he was meant to fulfill a bigger destiny, do something very big or very substantial on the lines of art, entertainment, creativity, so that is the only reason his planets forced him and brought that sudden change in his life. So all those kind of circumstances when we talk about where something is fated to happen. Now friends, understand this thing. When we talk about ninth house, you will always find ninth house to be very prominent in the charts of the motivational speakers, all the like in India, when we talk about the saints and the preachers, like even their voice, their satsang, their wisdom inspires the masses. It instills hope in other people's life. So ninth house also plays a very pivotal role, because if these entities are going to be strong, and if universe has chosen you as a medium, that through you the energies are going to set an example or is going to guide or motivate the masses, so trust me, you will definitely find some say coming out from the ninth house as well. And lastly friends, because I would also say that 11th house could also be included in this thing, because when we talk about the wish fulfillment, something big falling in your lap, so 11th house definitely has to be a part of that. So friends, apart from looking at your Mahadasha, looking at the currently activated houses in your natal chart, whether those are the same houses which we have just discussed or not, friends, you also have to look at the maturity of the planets. So like let's say for example, if Mars is a very important planet for you, and we all know that Mars matures at the age of 28. So let's say for example, if you are currently close to that age and you can actually figure it out that your Mahadasha is also about to change at the same time, and your Saturn return is also taking place, and there are certain developments developments which is taking place at your work front. Like suddenly some people are chasing you with something which is completely new and different to your portfolio. So these all are could be the signs from the universe. Second thing is that friends, like there are certain age group, like for example when we talk about 36th age, so this is the age when Saturn matures, the planet of maturity in itself matures, and this is the age when Jupiter would have already transited 3 times from its natal placement in your chart. Rahu Ketu would have done a double Rahu Ketu return in your natal chart. So these are the certain ages. If you are going through any important Mahadasha change or transit is influencing you in a benefic, in a positive way, so trust me friends, this could be a sign from the universe that some big change might be waiting for you. Also friends, like when we talk about from the transit perspective, so definitely the transit of the slow moving planet, like specifically if something big is meant to happen in your life, you will definitely get the indication both from the Saturn, which is a planet of the karma, which is a planet of bestowing something substantial, giving you and showing you the path. Jupiter, which definitely is the planet of blessings and grace. Without the blessing of a guru, you cannot even progress in any path. And lastly friends, Rahu and Ketu many times hold this key in the transit as well to manifest something very new, which is completely foreign, completely unusual to your existing line of work, to your existing portfolio. Because friends, I always say this thing, Rahu Ketu act as a kind of a excess of the destiny in our life, where whatsoever you have done in the past so many lifetimes, they are carrying them within itself. That is the only reason Rahu Ketu in itself is a nodes which represents mystery, which represents a surprise element in our life. So friends, if you will find that even in the transit, like Rahu, Ketu or Saturn and Jupiter are also pointing in the same direction. So friends, if I were to summarize this video or make a complete summary of this video, so first of all, you have to give attention to your currently activated dasha. That if your dasha is currently activating, like Mahadasha specifically, and the relation between the Mahadasha and the Antardasha, is it actually activating or influencing your 10th house in tandem, in sync with the 3rd house, 5th house, 9th house. Second thing is that, are there certain developments which are taking place in your life? Now friends, I want to make this thing very clear over here that if something big is meant to happen in your life, you do not have to go out and look for it. Destiny, circumstances or universe will find you within a crowd of the hundreds and thousands. So if you are that chosen one for some specific or unique thing meant to be done in the society, in the world, universe will find you. Planets, energies will definitely find you. You do not have to go out and look for it. And also friends, like whenever all these kind of changes, they all overlap at the same time. The examples or the references which I just mentioned, that you are about to start a new Mahadasha, your Saturn return is also taking place at the same time, and both in the transit, like whether from the aspect or from the presence, Saturn, Jupiter, Rahu and Ketu are also influencing these houses, and certain developments which are completely new and foreign to you are taking place. Then you can actually take that leap of faith that something big is meant to happen for you. Trust me friends, I even read this article somewhere that there was this one IAS officer, he was a recently new joining IAS officer. He went on a pilgrimage to Kedarnath or it was Amarnath, I'm not sure, and he had this kind of epiphany, some sort of divine experience, and he actually resigned from his services, and he actually took the path of the asceticism and the path of the yoga and self-awareness. So friends, before we will conclude, so definitely, because we are talking about a complete U-turn, a complete change, so definitely if there are houses, like if 3rd house or 7th house and 11th house are getting involved, so something to do with the line of business and self-enterprising, doing something completely on your own. If the 6th house, 10th house is getting influenced, it might be an indication that in your existing line of work, something to do with the philanthropy, humanitarianism or in the service, field of service, it could be involved. It might be an indication in that direction. And definitely friends, anything to do with the 8th house or 9th house might has to do with the teaching, with wisdom, with philosophy, with religion, with spirituality, with sadhana as well. that sort of epiphany awareness which is going to have a say in giving a complete transformation to your life. So friends, I know that this is not a complete study material for this concept, but you must have got an idea that what I am talking about, the planets, the contributing houses, and the dasha, how to study the dasha, and definitely whatsoever your views are, your findings are, or let's say for example around you, if you have seen those kind of major transformation in someone's life, so please write your views, your opinions in the comment section of the video, and then I will decide that whether do I have to make another video and go in detail in this same concept or not. So this is something, friends, which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs on this concept. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page.